Welcome to Bubbler.
Well, hello and welcome to Bubbler Podcast. Bubbler Podcast is committed to providing water cooler conversations to make you the life of the break room and office party. Kerri, the Mindy to my Mork, the Nancy to my Ron. How the heck are you today?
Well, I am doing so good. Spring has sprung in Texas. The bluebonnets are out, and it is a beautiful day down here in the Big Tex.
Outstanding. The weather out here is very bipolar. It can't make up its mind. I've got days where high at 35, 2 days later, high is 75. I'm going to assume it has nothing to do with Armageddon or the end of days. So something that I have noticed more and more in the memes I've been sent and social media posts, there's more about the topic of quote unquote adulting.
Oh, yeah.
And usually the vibe is, so really, this is it, or, none of that's new. It's all, I remember talking about it after a few cocktails, whether or not we were happy with adulting versus what we thought it would be like, etc. I think that's a pretty good water cooler conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm always curious because you know me, I'm obsessed with perspective. And so I'm very conscious of what I think about is directly relative to what I've been exposed to. So I'm curious to see, I think my answers are pretty general. They may not be. So
Yeah.
I figure we'll bounce back and forth, a little tit for tat. We'll talk about 3 things that we looked forward to when we were younger. Like, oh, I can't wait till I move out of my parents' house for this type of thing. And then I talk about how it happened. Did it happen? Do you still do these things? Does it matter at all today? That type of thing. So I think this will be fun. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it would be fun. It's interesting. I often say I've adulted too hard, maybe picked up a few extra responsibilities along the way. I think this is a great topic. Life was a lot easier when I was 12, for sure.
So I have managed in the majority of my adulthood not to take on unnecessary responsibilities and even some necessary responsibilities until very late in life. So let's see if we have a different point of view on this. Like I said, I think these are all very general. The answers I'm going to give you my first one.
Okay, let's hear it.
What child did not think when their parents said, it's past your bedtime, you have to go upstairs, I cannot wait until I'm an adult and I can decide when I go to bed and basically have ownership of my own schedule, which in general just seemed like freedom.
Yeah.
I think everyone thought that. I don't know if it made your 3, but as a kid, I absolutely hated having a bedtime. And I should have had a bedtime. I mean, I was not an easy child to wake up. I had alarm clocks. My mom still had to open the door and yell at me, and she tried to do it in a fun way. It's time to start your happy, happy day, which in retrospect, I think was probably fairly passive aggressive. If I had me as a child, I'd be more than passive aggressive. I hated having a bedtime, even though I definitely needed it. Of course, as soon as I went to college, I didn't even have to be an adult, like in my own apartment. I took full advantage of that freedom. I escaped slumber very early in adulthood, often staying up all night, hanging out with friends, drinking, playing video games, listening to music, just staying up to watch movies by myself. I always had rentals. I worked in a video store. I was allowed to take movies back. And then I realized as I got older, I definitely started embracing sleep. Probably started once I became a parent and you have those late night feedings and waking up and, the baby sleeps so many hours at a time and they kind of dominate your schedule. But even today, I can honestly say one of my top joys is going to bed at night with a freshly made bed, kicking back and enjoying the television equivalent of comfort food. Something like a Law and Order, Friends, or Family Guy. What are your thoughts?
I think, there's a ton, like you said, memes, my mom told me I had to go to bed at 9, and now I wish somebody was letting me go to bed at 9.
Right?
So, staying up late is absolutely what was on my list too, or going out late as well. I mean, getting ready and going out for a 10 o'clock start now would just crush my soul. I couldn't even imagine going somewhere and meeting up at 10 o'clock at night. Why are concerts so late, honestly? Like, they should
Seriously.
have matinees, don't you think?
I think if your band had a hit before 2000, you should be required to start your concerts at
At 3.
6:30.
Or
Oh,
3.
no.
No, I
Well,
want a matinee. I
you
want a
gotta
matinee.
have
I want a
weekday
matinee.
shows, though. Then we gotta take time off work to go to it, and it's a
No,
hassle,
Saturday. Give me a Saturday, 3 PM. We are there. I am there. I am day drinking. I'm in bed by 7. It is
So any
fabulous.
band that could be used for an AARP ad, they should
Ugh.
be required to only tour on the weekends and do matinee shows. Is that what you're saying?
If they wanna be part of the AARP cult, then sure. Sure. I think I am not a fan of the AARP.
Well, tell me a little. You said you did have this was one of the ones on your list.
Yeah.
What was your
So
reasoning? What's your take?
also, I had a bedtime. I had a bedtime and a curfew that was hardcore. I mean, I think we've talked about this before on the podcast. I wasn't allowed to do sleepovers, like slumber parties. I could go to a friend's house, that was okay. But like a party, I had to be picked up at 11. I was that girl and I hate it was so embarrassing. I was always the one that had to leave at 11 when everything started getting good. You start watching the movies like secretly, like watching the rated R movies, that kind of stuff. Always 11 o'clock, beep, beep, there's mom. And this is before cell phones, right? So she'd be honking out there. Like, she's like, "If I have to come to the door, you're never going to a party again." Maybe she said that. That might have been in my head. But
No, that was a common parental threat. You were to be looking out the window for their
Mhm,
vehicle
mhm.
2 to 5 minutes before they're due,
Yep.
and like you said, you got one courtesy honk, and if it was more than that, you were go "I'm
Yeah.
not doing this again. I had to wait out here 5 minutes for." It was a big fucking deal.
Yeah, so I longed to be able to just to go out. So when I was in college, I definitely stretched my limits, like you're saying, like just staying up for no reason. I mean, we would just start movies at 11 just to stay up till 2, 3 to, you know what I mean? Just to say I could stay up or go out or go to, a club late just because. So I think absolutely that was something that I totally look forward to. And now I'm kind of a late owl sometimes, a night owl sometimes. But you mentioned it, the bed situation. I am a get in my bed, under my covers is the best place on earth. I don't, and it's not because I am taken to the bed because I'm depressed. It is because it is literally the best place on earth. I,
Absolutely. I mean, the amount of effort I put into getting our master suite just right.
yep,
I used Hilton as my template to
yep.
put my bedroom together. The master suite was why we bought the house we did. Absolutely.
It
It
is
becomes
sanctuary.
it is sanctuary. I could not agree more. You mentioned not especially in college, and I think throughout our 20s, we tended not to go out until 10
Hmm.
o'clock at night or later,
Yeah.
which I think part of that was to attribute to spending less money by drinking before you went out to drink. But do you think that was the whole thing? Why were we going out so late?
I don't know, everybody still goes out so late. I don't know what you're doing during the day. Like, are you is it because I think it's just because we partied so much every day that you slept until 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. So by the time you've got your whatever responsibilities you need to do that day done, maybe working on the weekends, you worked more on the weekends. I don't know. I don't know. I get off of work at like 9, 10, and then go to the club. So maybe that's what it was. It was just your schedule. I don't know.
I see in shows and I talk to people and they're like, "Well, you can't be seen out before 9:30." I'm like, "The fuck I can't," you know?
Yeah, I think it depends on the city too. Like, I think it depends on what you have around you. Because there are some cities that are not late night cities and they're shutting it down 10, 11 o'clock. But if you're in New York or Chicago, I mean, I feel like those a bigger late night scene. And on the West Coast, I feel like
Yeah, I was
I
gonna
feel like
say
LA is like
LA, San Francisco, New
mhm,
York, Chicago, but that's not really the majority of the United States. So I just wonder if it was, well, we can't be lame because we saw it on TV. You know what I mean? Because all
maybe.
these shows were based in the major cities what made us think that nothing cool happened before 10 p.m.? Because let me tell you, I caused some major havoc in the middle of the afternoon,
That's what I'm saying.
you know what I'm saying? Right.
I
So
do.
if we can help some others out there learn that you can do both, that you can get sleep and have fun, walk away
I
from this episode with that. I don't know.
Well, and I truly believe like that is one of the greatest things that we discovered as you get older is you don't have to wait until 6 o'clock to have a drink or go out and have a good time or go eat. You don't have to wait. You can do it at lunch and, and you could still be in that beautiful, beautiful bed of yours by 7.
8:30. All right. Well, I'm not that old. So give me give me one of yours. Start out, give me another one of yours since we matched on one.
Okay, so this one is gonna be controversial, and this is
Uh-oh.
gonna date us. Growing up in the '80s, everybody smoked cigarettes, and I remember we all were pretending to smoke cigarettes, and everybody was waiting to be old enough to buy a pack of cigarettes. Now, thinking about it is just a terrible, terrible thing to look up to, but that's just how that's how we grew up. So I remember thinking, okay, well, when I turn 18, I'm going to smoke. I don't remember I feel like I was in college when I first smoked a cigarette. I think I might have been 18. I think I was old enough to buy cigarettes when I actually tried to smoke. I know my brother did earlier and I know a lot of kids did, but I don't remember ever trying it. But yeah, that was one that thankfully did not stick at this time of my life. Definitely had my 90s time there, maybe a little bit longer of smoking. So,
Now, do you feel like it was like a social peer pressure type of thing?
no.
The marketing that it looked cool? Do you just feel there was a general thing?
I don't know. I just think it was a rite of passage, to be honest with you. I don't think I was ever peer pressured. It was just something I wanted to do and I couldn't do. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
I mean, I get it. I mean, I'll tell you, I had no qualms about jumping into my vices very young. I never smoked regular cigarettes. I always smoked clove cigarettes.
Hmm.
And I started smoking cloves probably around age 15, but they tasted good. They smelled good. It was something I did through into my 20s and then quit doing just because it's dirty to an extent. I smoke cigars occasionally still.
Same.
Um,
I do too.
but I think cigars make more sense. Cigarettes were a big part of that 80s, 90s culture too.
Yeah.
It's so funny now when you see the television show ratings pop up. This is TVMA, and this is why they list smoking as the
Yeah.
reason to making something TV 14 or whatever.
Yeah, and who was it? Is it George Clooney is doing I think he's in some production, and it's a role that requires heavy smoking. He was talking about how it's really difficult for him with the family history of lung cancer and different things. And I thought, God, at this point, do we not have an alternative? Like if you like I get it for production and, for the theater, but do we not have an alternative? Is there a health hazard when you go see this show?
There are organic or fake cigarettes that don't use
Yeah.
tobacco, but it still burns like it a little
Yeah.
bit. So it's something that I don't think it's as popular as it was. I think it is regional, and it's funny for me to still hear people talking about smoking because I don't see it much.
I see it
But
a lot, a lot. After COVID, I noticed it. Well, I have a lot more people that I'm seeing smoking outside than I had. It'd be interesting to see what the stats are on that. Like if cigarette sales went up after 2020, which is counterintuitive considering it was a a respiratory issue with COVID, but it seems like there's more people smoking.
that may be its future topic. We may have to look into the trends of tobacco. So now I'll go.
Always educating on this podcast, always educate. That's what the water cooler's for, Mac.
That's right. My second thing, this is another one I thought was real broad, kind of generic. When I was younger, I couldn't wait to be an adult and determine what the fuck I ate. I didn't like a lot of the same dishes my parents liked. My mom, when she put green peppers and everything, I was trying to get my family to agree on what restaurant we were going to. I just remember that it was always a task to determine what to eat or choose something I liked. What's ridiculous about it is my family owned restaurants, and
Yeah.
this was still a typical thing. And so I thought about it and I'm like, that's something that I remember being like, I can't wait till I control what I eat and when I eat it. And again, overcompensation right out of the gate, go to college, cold pizza for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, man, almost defiantly, right? Once I had kids, I had to lead by example and be more conscious of it and eat healthy and try to get them to. And I remember my wife telling Zach, telling him when he's old enough, then he can have leftover pizza for breakfast, but not, while he was still living in our house. The first time he visited as an adult, there was cold pizza in the fridge. And she's like, "Do you want a slice of pizza?" She's like, "I always told you once you're an adult, I didn't care." You go back, you become a parent, lead by example, you become even more conscious of it because you're responsible for what your kid eats. But then I kind of reverted back pretty quickly as an empty nester. I occasionally will have a bowl of cereal for dinner. 10 years ago, it was Boo Berry or Fruit Loops. Now I eat that carb conscious, healthy imitation cereal.
Right.
Um, but at the same time, you know what I still think rocks for breakfast is a piece of leftover birthday cake. It's still and it's in defiance. Actually, that's probably one of the few things on this list that I take a moment to enjoy. Well, you want to be an adult? Have this chocolate cake, motherfucker. And it's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
it is.
It
It's
is.
like one of
I get
my
that.
very few victories as an adult is leftover cake of some sort for breakfast.
I like that. I really like that. We've talked about this before. So we were an at-home, eat at home, mom cooked growing up. And yeah, there were dishes that I didn't like. I don't ever remember like not being able to eat something outside of a norm. I do remember, I tell Natalie this all the time. My mom would clean the kitchen after dinner and turn out the lights and say, "Kitchen's closed," and you weren't allowed to eat anything. You couldn't even go get a snack. The kitchen is closed. She's cleaned it. You're not allowed to go in there. Don't even think about it. Nothing. And so as an adult, this isn't one of my three. As an adult, like my kitchen is never closed for the
Right.
record. If you want to get up and eat something and make a mess in my kitchen at 2 a.m, go for it. I don't care. I think it's all good. But yeah, that's a good one. Okay. So here is one for the ladies. I could not wait to get boobs. And it was like a lifetime. I remember reading Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. And as a man, I don't know if you read this book, but there is a very, I guess it not instruction, I guess it was kind of instructions that you had to do to increase your breast. There may have been a small chant that went with it. You must increase your bust.
Right.
And I have vivid memories of wondering and what felt like eternity to find out when I was gonna get boobs. I was such a late bloomer. I was told by a boy when I was 13 or 14 that I was the president of the Itty Bitty Titty Committee.
Oh my god, I
And
remember that one. Okay, yeah.
I did not like that. And then somewhere, somehow, we think from my grandmother on my father's side, I was graced very quickly and very and very much over what I needed. And it happened overnight. Years, Mick. I would think about it. When am I going to get these boobs?
It's definitely not on my list. Now, when am I gonna get to play with boobs should have
It
been
was
on my
on your
list.
list. I
But
bet it was. I bet it
but
was.
you know what's funny about that too is that is a case of something that was very personal to you in the fact that I know girls that at that same age were like, "I can't wait till I get older and I can get these big boobs that I'm being made fun of
Yeah.
reduced."
Reduced.
You
Or get
know?
boobs, or go buy some. I mean,
Yeah,
it
I have.
actually
I don't know if this is still a thing. I think this was a kind of a Gen X thing. The amount of people I knew that had plastic surgery as part of a graduation present was pretty high.
yeah.
Whether it was a nose job, boob reduction, I think it would be a little more taboo today.
I don't know.
There were people that were picked on for not having boobs. There were people that were picked on for getting them too soon and them being too big.
Yeah. When you brought up this topic the other day, it was the first thing I thought of.
See, that is so crazy to me because
Mhm.
it's that perspective piece, right?
Yep.
Because I would never have even thought anyone would bring that up as a topic. But I think anything you're teased about, and I don't I must have gone to a very odd school. I went to a medium-sized school in the Midwest. I don't remember us picking on people, or at least I didn't, and I don't think my friends did. I don't remember picking on people about things like that.
If I
But I
remember
know it's
correctly, this was over the summer. I don't even know if he went to my school. I just think he was just a terrible neighborhood kid.
that individual probably had a crush on you. He was probably one of those boys
Yeah.
that the way he flirted because his parents did a shit job raising him was by
What?
picking on
Wow.
you.
Let's just throw the parents under the bus. Go for
Well,
it.
there you go. If you were a kid that made up fun of
Dang.
someone for something that they could not control like that, then I think you should have a talk with your parents if they're still amongst us.
Oh my gosh. That's so funny. That was my third. What's yours?
Well, again, I think mine were all very vague in general. Mine, of course, was just having my own place to do whatever I wanted to do. It's a big umbrella, but I could not wait to have my own apartment. I remember how excited I was when I found my roommates. When I worked with one of them, and the other one was his brother, and we got this great townhouse. But I just thought I'll have privacy. I can date. I can have girls over whenever I want. So I could not wait to get my own apartment. That's something that, from what I've seen, is very different from millennials and Gen Z. They don't rush out because they do sensible things like save up to have their down payment on a home and stay with their parents. I just remember that was just so embedded in our youth and our tradition. You got out there, you got your own place, and that's when you could have
Yeah.
all the silly escapades that were on all the R-rated movies at the time. I had a great first apartment, but it was three guys living together in a townhome. So it was kind of gross, according to our girlfriends. They would like take turns cleaning our shower and stuff. I got to learn to be considerate of others that I wasn't tied to by blood. It was by sharing it. It was three guys with a 1.5 bath. You had to share a fridge. You had to stay out of each other's food. I've heard that we got along better than most roommates do. But then the dating aspect, like, because I was someone that
Yeah.
was like, I always had a serious girlfriend. So I'm like, I'm going to become adult and I'll have my own place and I can date around like they do. And you couldn't, because once you brought the date back to your house, you knew where you lived. They could just pop by. So you really
And you
never dated around like they did on TV.
and you don't have the money. That's when you realize you're like, wait, if I wanted to do something like that, I would have to have a different place. I don't have that kind of money. I'd have to get
No.
more roommates at a different place.
And you still, like, if you wanted to make a romantic dinner, you had to
Yeah.
clear with the
Oh,
roommates, "Hey,
yeah.
can I have the
Yeah.
dining room Thursday night?" Let's be honest, making a romantic dinner in your early 20s was somehow related to Chef Boyardee or another box product. Or for
Mhm.
me, I made an amazing stir fry using frozen vegetables and water chestnuts,
Such a show off.
Yeah, I mean, woo, I've got my walkout. This is a big date night.
A walk. It was a walk night.
Oh,
Oh,
I had an electric
man.
walk, man. That was my thing. I thought I was so cool with this like garage sale electric walk. And then after marriage, you got to pick and choose your battles when it comes to your home. I kid you not. I probably have more say in the decoration and furniture and everything of my home than most men.
No,
That
my
that
husband did. My
Did
hus
he have a lot as well? This is true. My wife and I have argued more and more passionately and been more angered with each other about paint color and art more than any other topic in the last 25 years. Like, I remember us having this huge fight about this Banksy I put in the dining room. And we were both just furious with each other. And she kept taking it off the wall and trying to ship it back when I wasn't there. And I kept
Oh, wow.
intercepting it. We were being very juvenile and passive aggressive about it. Both of us were bitching to our workmates about it. We did it on the same day when we told our workmates how furious we were with the other one about this Banksy painting in the dining room. We both had the chilliest reception and responses from our friends, especially the married ones. And they're like, "Are you fucking serious? This is what you guys fight about?" And we were both like, "Oh, this is bad. I am just furious." And they're like, "Over a fucking painting. This is really what you guys are arguing about." Eventually, I moved the painting into my office. I bought her a t-shirt of the painting like 6 months later in the most passive aggressive gift giving ever. We still can't really joke about it. And that was at least 12 years ago.
I think everybody has that moment. Like, I am not super passionate about things. So long as that everything is neat and looks nice. My husband has great taste. So I really didn't have to worry about things being, not my style. So it was okay. So I got lucky there. But we have in our house one item that is the most hideous item that he brought into the house. And I was like, what is this? And it is my most hated item, but also my most cherished now. There is a lamp, and I call it the surgical lamp because it is literally the ugliest thing you've ever seen. I don't know. He got this lamp. It makes no sense. It doesn't go with anything else in the house. It's the strangest thing. Yeah. So I think we all have like that one thing that, but isn't it nice to be an adult to have an argument over a painting and a lamp?
Yeah, it is. You know what I just thought of when you said the lamp story? I thought of when Harry met Sally and the wagon
Mhm.
wheel coffee table.
Yes.
I
Yes.
think every couple has a wagon wheel coffee table slash surgical lamp
Absolutely.
slash robot Banksy painting that will go to the grave. Like, I want the logo of this robot on my gravestone,
Oh my
all because
god.
of
Stop it.
the fight we had. It
It's so
represents
dramatic.
but well, no, it represents a period that I now look at it ironically in the fact that our friends pointed out to us, not together, but separately, that these were the things that we thought about. We needed to shut the hell up because they got real problems at their home.
Yeah.
When I'm looking at it
That's
right
true.
now.
That's
So,
true. That is true. It's a good levity moment. Hey, I have a bonus one. I have a question for you.
okay,
What is something that you wish you had been told before being an adult?
pick and choose your battles.
Mm,
Decide what you're going to let eat your lunch and what is worth standing up for, what you're really willing to take a stand. Because in my 20s through mid 30s, to me, it was always more important to be right than what the topic was. And if I had learned to really look at the topic and pick and choose the battle from that, just to take 2 seconds and even think, how important is this to me? I think that would have changed a lot of things in my life as far as just unnecessary struggles. I mean, I still think I'd be doing what I do and all that. And what's close to that is professionally when someone taught me to take the emotion out of your work and your work decisions, to make it
mhm.
based solely on the data, the logistics, which again, I think goes with not always needing to be the winner of the argument, which I was on debate team and I did speech team and all that. So it was part of it. What about you?
I think I wish someone had just told me that, life is hard, but not hard in a way of, oh, life is hard. You have to work hard and take yourself seriously. Like, not like that. That part of life is, going through hard times and deaths and struggles. Like, that is part of it. Everybody's always striving to be, oh, I want to get that house or that car, or I want to go on that trip. And everybody's always trying to get that carrot. Part of life is embracing the hard time. It can give you perspective, it can ground you, it can prevent you from making bad choices. And there's just a lot of life that's in those hard times too. And I wish somebody had cued me into that. I think that would have probably served me well when I was younger instead of thinking, oh, my life is so hard, and it's like, no, that is life. Life is hard. Like, this is, you're living it. I wish someone had kind of cued me into that a little earlier.
So you and I are like sharing a wavelength. We had a very lengthy pre-recording conversation, just catching up. And I kid you not, I typically write a little outline when we record. Under wrap up, I put, in retrospect, I think adulting is worth it. You need to
Hmm.
step outside of your comfort zone to grow, face challenges, and learn new people's perspectives. And I think that really goes hand in hand with what you said. Even right now, as some things have changed for me, I had to stop and say, okay, I could be really mad about some of these changes and frustrated, or, like you say, oh, life's bullshit, it's tough. Or I can stop and say, what can I learn from this? I think more people do this a lot younger than I discovered this piece, but absolutely just being able to stop and saying, okay, what can I take away from this moment sounds like so much more of an adult than I think I've ever been up until this point. And
Yeah.
at the same time, I enjoy it. It helps me get through it. And so if I was able to do that a little earlier and look at every challenge as a potential learning experience, I absolutely would have gotten more out of it. You know me, I want to hold on to my stupidity as long as possible. And I thought about it too. And what do I miss about those times where I wanted to get out of them and get to adulting? I actually miss the amount of time being enclosed with family. As my parents get older, I miss spending time with them, asking their opinions on current events or just advice in general. But I've learned to pick up and check in with them more frequently because I do appreciate them more now so than ever, even as we're talking about all the things we couldn't wait to get away from and get our own place and grow. I had a pretty Midwestern easy upbringing, and I don't know how my parents did it. So this is an open apology to them now. I was a horrible teenager. Horrible. I mean, my parents deserve so much better than what I put them through. I do think about that, and I try to tell them every once in a while, "You did even a better job than I think they realized until very recently." In retrospect, maybe someone could have told me to go back now that I think about it and appreciate my parents. I'm fortunate to have them. So, thanks, mom and dad, for all you do. And Kerri, this is a fun conversation.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna expand on adulting. I think this is gonna be a theme for a couple episodes. I look forward to discussing it with you, and this has been fun. Always a pleasure. Now get back to work.
All right. I'm going.